Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Arusa Aftab from Department of Botany, Lahore College, Women University, Lahore. The course I am taking is Recent Trends in Ethnobotany for MS class semester 2, and the topic I am going to start today is ethnopharmacology in relation to ethnobotany and all other related fields. Why we are needed to study ethnopharmacology? There are some questions like why local people use medicinal plants and are dependent upon them, which compounds they extract from these medicinal plants, and which type of diseases they are curing by using these plants. So first of all, for doing an ethnopharmacological study, the plant has to be investigated for its phytochemical analysis. Phytochemical analysis means to get an estimation or to get an idea about all the metabolites present in the plant which are meant for the cure of certain diseases. Number one is get involved in phytochemistry. Phytochemicals or phytochemistry is one and the same thing. Phytochemistry gives us an idea about the presence of specific compounds present in the plant which are performing their specific functions, like there may be some compound present in the plant that is meant for antimicrobial activity of that plant, and some other secondary metabolites may be present in the plant that are doing their specific duties. So plant based chemistry is phytochemistry. Which kind of compound plants are having, either rich in alkaloids, phenolics, tannins, etc., or you have to identify certain chemicals in the plants. The chemicals in the plants may be of two types, either in the trace amounts or in the large amounts. If the compounds are present in the form of larger reserves within a plant, they are known as macronutrients, and if they are present in the form of minor quantities, they are known as micronutrients. So micronutrients are the nutrients in the trace quantity, for example magnesium, ferrous, nickel, etc., and macronutrients are the plants containing these nutrients in larger quantity, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, magnesium, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Now there are two types of compounds basically present in the plants. One are known as primary metabolites and other are known as secondary metabolites. Except these two, there are some other categories of the compounds present in the plant, but basic two are primary and secondary. Primary metabolites are those which are meant for making the building block of the plant, like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and they are united to form carbohydrates, proteins, etc. Whereas secondary metabolites are meant for the defense purpose of the plant or any body. If any plant is rich in secondary metabolites, the defense mechanism of that plant within the plant and the plant that is being taken by the organisms, the plant will strengthen the secondary mechanism of that organisms too. So secondary metabolites are composed of union of primary metabolites with variation, for example terpenoids, alkaloids, etc. Then essential oils. They contain aroma or fragrance. By rubbing petal, essence is released. That evaporate is known as volatile in nature. Essential oils are volatile in nature and they impart specific fragrance or aroma to the plant. Then decomposites. They contribute in soil and should not be decomposed easily. Next category is comparative phytochemistry. Comparative phytochemistry is that in which you are going to compare the different parts of the plant and you build a structure in which you may say the leaf is rich in secondary metabolite like alkaloid, whereas stem is comparatively producing lesser amount of alkaloids. So you can compare different parts like stem, flower, root and physiology, etc. So first is pharmacognosy related person, who can study naturally occurring compounds that can be used medicinally and in other ways. Can also study biology and chemistry of plants. Knowledge of tissue culture, genetic manipulation and cell culture is necessary for this person for the identification of certain diseases and their symptoms. Then next one is ethnopharmacology related person is in this case emphasis will be on describing medicinal properties and remedies used by local people, how they select plant and prepare it, and what is their mode of administration. The person should have knowledge of chemistry, botany and anthropology. In this case, this person has to identify the source of the source of administration or mode of administration that is being done by local counterparts within a specific ethnopharmacological area. Then nutritional chemist. He will measure the quantities of specific nutrients found in an organism and how much they fulfill dietary requirements. Either the person should require some other supplements or not. Study local wild green resource plant on the basis of nutritional value. Then chemical ecologist. He will identify what is the relationship of that specific plant within the environment. Either the plant is dependent on the environment or the environment is dependent upon the plant, or what is the interaction between both these two. Study compounds that affect the relationship between animal and plant behavior. It will also study plant and insect interactions. Then natural product chemist. He will study broad range of biological compounds that include latex, resins and other category compounds. He should have agriculture based knowledge or the idea of green fertilizers. Next is the person who has some knowledge about narcotic substances. He will check either the plant causes some hallucination or they break the connection with the society, for example atropine, caffeine, nicotine, etc. These are basically narcotic substances are those which cause some effect on the nervous system of the organism, like atropine, caffeine, and identify doses and quantity of the plants, what in which quantity they are containing these hallucinating substances or narcotic substances. Then how can we sample the plants? There are some techniques for plant sampling. Number one is should always be random. If you are going to select or collect samples from any field, you should not be specific for any specific area. The random sampling decreases the chances of error. So don't be localized mentally or physically. You should select a large area with the diverse plant specimens so that you may be able to collect a large number of plants with variable characteristics. Collect different samples of variety. Next is selection of plants should be of chemotaxonomic approach. In this case, while you are going to study ethnopharmacology, you should select all those plants which are chemically diverse. So chemotaxonomic approach is that the plant is chemically diverse and taxonomically diverse, and that plant should be available in larger quantities in the specific field. Increased efficiency of sampling. If you are going to follow these two approaches, the efficiency of sampling would be very good. Ethnopharmacological approach. Important plant for local people. You have to study all those plants which are ethnopharmacologically important, or the people from any local community are depending upon these plants to cure certain diseases or to fulfill their dietary requirements. Sampling on the basis of nutrition. Select nutrient rich plants. The plant, either herb, shrub or tree, you should go for those plants which are chemically diverse, morphologically diverse and rich, and their amount or their number should be more in the specific field area. Then how can you screen the specific compounds or phytochemicals within a plant? Number one is field screening. Field screening is that in which you can screen the plants or you can separate the plants within your field. Screening at field with small instruments like essential oil evaluation. You can do all those tests within a field in which no heavy machinery or equipment is required for the screening. And there are some benefits, likewise drawbacks of field screening. What are the benefits? You will be able to have a bulk collection of the plant specimen available. If you are going to punch a plant or mash a plant in the field, but you are not able to collect the specific compound you are required, so so you would be able to collect another plant specimen, whereas in case of laboratory, the chances would be reduced for the collection of new plant specimen. At the same time, fresh testing of specimens can be done, because the plant would be fresh and green and healthy, so you would be able to collect a larger amount of the tested compound. And drawbacks: study only superficially, not detailed study can be done. In this case, you can study only superficial characteristics of the plant, because you would not be able to have microscope or other scanning instruments within the field, so you may do detailed study. Next is lab screening. In case of lab screening, the evaluation of different components is done within the lab, and the benefit of lab screening is that you would be able to do a detailed study of the specimen, whereas drawback is the bulk collection is not available and fresh testing of sample is not possible. The drawbacks, which are the points which are the drawbacks of lab screening, there would be the positive aspects of field screening. Then pharmacological and biological analysis. Pharmacological analysis includes phytochemical analysis, whereas biological analysis is that in which you are going to use some animals or microorganisms to compile your data, like antibacterial analysis, brine shrimp analysis, or antiviral analysis, or anti-cancer analysis, in which you are going to use some certain cell lines or strains to proceed your study. Next is collecting plants for phytochemical analysis. You should collect samples individually. There should be no mixing of samples, so that the results obtained at the end would be ambiguous. You will not be sure whether the compound is present in which plant. So pack them separately to avoid the chances of impurities or mixing. Then properly you would be able to analyze them properly. How can you prepare your plants for study within the lab, or if you are planning some study from abroad? So what can you do for the plant preparations? In case of plant preparations, you have to follow the preservation of plants, whether you are going to use dry sample or moist sample. In case of dry sample, you should use some naphthalene tablets and keep the plant sample in the jar, and the jar should be having a tight cap, and insert some naphthalene tablets to preserve them. Whereas if you are going to use some fresh samples evaluation or analysis, you should also keep them in the tight jars and add some formalin or ethanol to preserve them for a limited time period. Or if you are using some frozen samples, then you should be very much careful to extract their DNAs and preserve them in the form of pellets. In addition to these preparations, you should be using some notebooks and all other requirements which I have already discussed in my another lecture, sources of data and methods of collection. Then labeling: all samples should be labeled properly to avoid the chances of error. And if you are going to use some international analysis, then shippings of specimens should be very properly, their packaging and labeling of the specimens should be done. At the end, you have to compile your data. For data compilation, you should observe all the results and then pile sort all the data which is randomly scattered. For this randomly scattered data, to compile it and to summarize it, you have to follow some statistical analysis. This statistical analysis will reduce the chances of error and it will give you the significancy of your data. After that, you have to go for report writing, in which you can compile all the concepts, all the results, data and analysis, and you may say what type of specimens are good for you and which should be recommendable for the future generation. for the use of for the treatment of certain diseases, and ultimately you have to publish this data so that it would be available to all the people living in the far areas. This is the list of recommended books which may be used for preparation of the topic, and that's it. Thank you so much.